Good evening, good evening, good evening. And of course, this is Coach Steele, and I'm here with Coach Steele's Finance Training. And of course, I am the financial voice of the people. And if you didn't know that, then you probably need to ask someone and they'll let you know. Definitely happy to have you here with me on this evening. And of course, on this evening, as you see in the title, we have electric bill increase. So let's see as we examine that. Let me plug in my laptop. And so as we examine that and we try to talk about and have a discussion about the electric bill increase and why, I want to inform you about it for a number of reasons. It is important that we talk about the increase in the electric bill that we have seen in the past month or two. And so, is there anybody that's tuned in, have you noticed a slight increase in your electric bill? If you've noticed an increase in your electric bill, abnormal increase in the past month or two, put a comment in the comment section. Just let me know what you've noticed. Has anyone noticed a slight increase in their electric bill in the past month or two? So, I want to talk about the electric bill increase for a number of reasons. One, I've told everyone probably for the past 2 months, you keep hearing me stress this conversation about inflation and the effects of inflation. But when it comes to the cost of living, you'll hear a lot of people say, well, inflation is going down. And that's a broad term. Once again, when we talk about the electric bill, most people have noticed a slight increase in their electric bill, unless it's just me. Am I the only one that have noticed a slight increase in their electric bill in the past month or two? And I'm not talking about, well, I can't even say slight. I mean an abnormal increase in my electric bill. And I'm sure it's happening to a lot of people all across America. Now, of course, someone may have solar panels, and so their situation may be completely different. But if you're just tuning in, happy to have you tuned in. This is Coach Steele's Finance Training. And yes, I am live on Facebook and I am also live on YouTube. And I definitely want to have you a part of my YouTube community, Coach Steele's Finance Training, where we have a catalog of financial literacy and information that we share there. So feel free to jump on YouTube and dive in there and subscribe, become a part of the team as we build a community in Coach Steele's Finance Training on YouTube. So when we look at the increase in electric bills lately, we want to know why that's happening and what we can do about it. Anytime we discuss something, we want to talk about why it's happening and what we can do about it. Anytime you have a conversation about a big issue, when you start discussing something that is stressful or something you want to understand, you can waste a lot of time having a conversation about what the problem is. But I believe, more importantly, we should come up with solutions. Is anybody in favor of solutions? Give me a thumbs up if you're in favor of solutions. So, as we have this conversation, I want to inform you and educate you of what's been happening in our economy for a few years and what we should expect to see. Because I keep telling everyone, I believe the cost of things are going to continue to increase. They're going to continue to be higher, even though they say inflation is decreasing. But in other words, they're saying it is slowing down. So the rate and the speed of which the cost of living was increasing is now just going a little slower. So instead of the cost of living going 100 miles per hour, it's slowing down to 60. It's a drastic change, but it's still moving. So keep that in mind. And so I don't want anyone to get complacent, lackadaisical, or get into a comfort level where they think they don't have to continue to be financially sharp and accurate because things are supposedly slowing down. No, we have to stay on our toes. We have to keep our guard up financially. And so it's important that we have those conversations. I'm going to share my screen and allow you all to look at some solutions and some things that are happening in regards to our electric bill. Hang tight while I share my screen. If I can find it. I might not be sharing my screen. Okay, there it is. All right, we'll start right here first. So one thing that we're looking at right here, and it says common reasons for high electric bills. And so once again, I want to deal with solutions, things that can actually help us as we try to improve. And so I believe that it's important that we have this conversation and this discussion on things we can do and to help us solve this problem. I'm going to enlarge it a little bit in case you need to see a little bit better. All right, common reasons for high electric bills. Having older appliances. So that's something that you can look at. You can examine, hey, what appliances potentially need to be replaced or make sense to replace to reduce my electric bill and it all balance out in the long run. Using appliances inefficiently. Okay, that's a no-brainer. Of course, if you leave those lights on, then yeah, that electric bill is going to be higher. If anyone grew up in a household where you were forbidden to leave a light on in the room, if you weren't in that room, leave a comment in the comment section. Or if you're on YouTube Live, you can leave a comment on YouTube. Was there anyone who ever grew up in a household where you needed to cut those lights off? I grew up in a household where they also told you in or out, in or out. You had to make a decision. Either you're going to stay inside or outside. But what you're not going to do is keep opening that front door, letting that cool air out. No, no, no. You're not going to make that AC unit go into overdrive because you enter out the house. And so you learn how to use the neighbor's water faucet outside and the hose to get water and things that you need because you know you weren't coming back inside. You do too many trips back inside, you were going to be stuck inside while everybody is playing outside. Now, of course, this was before social media and all of that, when you really had to go outside to go have some fun or do something. So using appliances inefficiently. So one thing that we need to do to improve our electric bill from being so high, because right now the cost of electricity and having it is increasing. So because it is increasing, we have to be very, very sharp and tactical to reduce the amount that it's increasing. Because some people living paycheck to paycheck, the last thing you need is an increase in your electric bill because now you're going to be in the negative. Now you're going to have to use the credit card to pay, to basically borrow electricity and try to pay back with interest. And so some people have put so much on a credit card, they are paying back electricity from 3 months ago, from 4 months ago, and it keeps adding up. And so not only are you paying for the electric bill, but now you're paying for it with interest. So how much is that electric bill really now at this point? So anyway, that's why this is important, because it can make or break your budget. And you've heard me in the past talk about why it is important to budget, why it is important to fix those problems when it comes to your budget. And Kayla said it is very ghetto here on planet Earth. Ooh, yeah. It's kind of rough right now. It's kind of rough, and it's important. That's why we need to focus on our budget. This is why we need to learn how to make adjustments in our budget, because the way these electric bills are running up is kind of ghetto right now. So once again, back to the old school. If you have kids in the house, it's that in or out, inside or out mentality. And so it's interesting because I truly believe in the past, many of us kids, we were outside so much that we really didn't have an opportunity to run up the electric bill like it is now. Think about it. What do kids want nowadays? What is something that most kids want to have access to nowadays? Name the one thing that if you take away from a child right now and they don't have access to it, they will be frustrated, upset, might sit and pout. What do kids want access to that causes for electricity to be in play? Boom, Kayla answered it. The internet, Wi-Fi. You mess around and cut off the Wi-Fi in the house. Kids are trying to find themselves. They're trying to figure out their life. They're trying to figure out what's going on and how to improve. Like they're trying to figure out who they are as a people. They're like, okay, what is a book? They're trying to figure out what outside is. So just keep in mind, it's important. It's very, very important that we monitor what they're doing and how much usage they are. And sometimes, one thing my mom used to tell me to save with electricity, and I still do to this day. If you're sitting in a room and you're just chilling and you got the light on, she'll tell you to cut the light off and she'll open up your curtain and say, use God's light. So that was her thing. She would always tell you, why don't you just use God's light? Open up the curtain, the whole room would light up. And you're like, you know what? Why didn't I think of that? Instead of running up this electric bill. So that's something that my mother would do constantly. And I know a gentleman who goes to my church. His name's Deacon Cook. And one thing Deacon Cook tells everyone, and he gives free game on, is to unplug stuff. Not to just have things plugged in and you're not even using it. He was explaining to me that if you keep stuff plugged in, then there's still a level of, I put it in my own words, you're still being charged. You're still using electricity. And so it made sense just to unplug stuff that's not being used. Now he goes to the extreme. Deacon Cook will actually unplug everything, majority, I can't say everything. He'll unplug a majority of everything while he leaves the house to go to work. And so that helps decrease their electric bill as well. And so as we talk about electric bill increase, what I'm telling you all, I'm confident that they're going to continue to rise. And in the past 2 months, I know people have seen an increase in their electric bill. And good evening, Shauna. Appreciate you tuning in. Happy to have you here. And so, yes, unplug things that you aren't using. Now, of course, Shauna, you don't want to unplug the refrigerator. Now, that's going to be a whole nother bill if you do that. So, yeah, those things you aren't using, just go ahead and unplug them. And that's what Deacon Cook told me. I know he won't steer me wrong. So we are talking about using God's light. Cut all those lights off. If you're at home and you're chilling, just open up some curtains, let some sunshine in, let some light in. That'll help decrease the bill to a certain extent. Yes, Kayla, she said mine went from 185 to 235. Lord have mercy. See, the past 2 months have been crazy. Ooh, Pastor Kanye said Georgia Power is like Herod, playing in my face. Oh, listen, y'all. This is a quick commercial for Mount Zion. Pastor Kanye's preached an amazing sermon on Sunday, and one of her points was, about people will play in your face and how to handle accusations. So if you get a chance, you can always go to Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church Facebook or on YouTube and watch that sermon. And so that's what she's referencing when she says Georgia Power is like Herod playing in my face. Y'all, I got my electric bill right here in front of me. And I don't even want to say what mine is out loud. This will make me cry. Oh, Lord. Okay, let me tell y'all. All right, since Kayla put her business out there, I'm going to put mine out there. Hers went from 185 to 235. $50 increase. Let's see here. Mine says, oh, Lord. My electric bill, why is it so high? Total current electric bill due $320.87. $320.87. I'm going to take up an offering because the more I keep seeing this $320.87, I really just want to break down and cry. I'm sorry. I know I'm supposed to be. I'm going to get back to y'all, but I need to figure out how this is going to get paid because this don't make any sense. See, last month, Lord, I had a child come home from college. And when my child came home from college, and I have 3 of them. I won't name any names, but my daughter enjoyed cutting on everything and watching movies. And hold on, wait a minute, she might watch this. So okay, disregard. Anyway, so where was I? Let's get back to the rest of what we're doing. But anyway, I'm taking up an offering for that $320.87. And so since we putting our information out there, Kayla, I'm feeling it too. I would rather have your 235. 235 looks good to me right now. But yours went up about $50, close to $50. So let's see, 235 minus that 185. Yep, $50. So that $50 is huge because it really dictates what you're able to do on a number of things that I talk about. That's $50 that can go into an IRA, a Roth IRA, where you can pay your future self. That's some extra money that you can put into some type of investment inside a checking account. So I'm sorry, inside a savings account, a high yield interest savings account. So there's a number of things we can do with that extra money. But instead of doing that, we're giving it to the expense of inflation, the cost of living and things going up. So next on this list, what do we have here? That common reasons for high electricity bills. Shauna says, I'm with Coastal Electric and they running it up too. See, a lot of people are feeling this. And most people don't know what to do about it, but we're going to confidently keep paying them. Why? Because no one wants to be hot. No one wants to burn up. Earlier on here, Kayla said, what'd she say? Let me go back. It's very ghetto here on planet Earth. And what's ghetto is being overly heated with no AC in the summertime. And so anyway, that would be very difficult. And a lot of people are going through that. And so you have a decision to make to pay these high expenses or, not have it. And it's dangerous to not have air conditioning. Like people can literally lose their lives. If you have young children in the house, they could overheat and dehydrate. And so this is actually a very serious matter. And there's not many benefits or I would say opportunities for electric companies to help. They do a little bit for people who can't afford electric bills. There's some programs out there, but you literally have to be making like almost no income at all for them to help you. Now, also being moved to a new rate structure that can affect income, your electric bill as well. Shauna said, just sit in the dark and oh no, sir. Air stay on, and y'all know I can't be hot. So it's a lot of us that can't be hot. We just can't do it. So we got to pay this electric bill. And so if we got to pay this electric bill, we might as well come up with some creative ways to decrease it. And so being moved to a new rate structure might affect it, increasing utility rates, which they have, continuing changes, thermostat settings. Yeah, so that's another thing in your house you need to find. And see, this is tough too, because if there's more than 2 people in the house, really, if there's more than 1 person in the house, you kind of in a back and forth over what temperature you want it out. So want the temperature at. And so continually changing thermostat settings can increase the electric bill as well. So anybody at the house where you put it at one thing and then the next thing you know, you look back and somebody that moved it to something else. That's a whole nother, that can cause an argument in some households. That can cause a whole argument in some households. Who lives in a household where you set it at one thing and you look back and they done moved it? Shauna says, stay on 70 with 4 people and we be good. I wish they would change it. Ooh. So if they on 70, they in there freezing. It's ice cold in there. They got icicles on them. And one thing Kayla said that you can do to help, and this is something I do in a few of my rooms, is dark curtains. It's hard if you have 2 levels. It's always hot upstairs. Oh, you hit the nail on the head. And see, right now I have upstairs and downstairs. Jeez. Downstairs are cool, pretty smooth. But upstairs, Oh yeah, you got to crank it up because all that heat, I guess, is rising, and so that's the problem. And the way my house is set up, I have a unit for downstairs and I have a unit for upstairs, and so both of them are constantly running all the time. And so if you're a homeowner, a lot of things that I'll say one thing that you should do and can do is every summer or before the summer hits, if you're a homeowner, I would say go in and just get a regular maintenance check. Just like I have a guy that I use for AC all the time, and he'll do like a yearly whatever, just a maintenance check on everything to make sure everything's running smooth. That way, before there is a problem, he's able to attack the problem and fix it, all the minor stuff before it gets bad. And so you want to do that because if you don't do those things, then your AC unit will play in your face. It will randomly have problems as well. And Shauna put, yes, buy blackout curtains, and you can even purchase them at Family Dollar and Dollar General. Now, I'm going to have to buy some blackout curtains for sure because that $320.87 is no joke. And I need it to improve. You know what? Next month, my next electric bill, I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I'm going to come back and do another live about electric bill updates. And everybody tuning in, I need y'all to do, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do an electric bill challenge for the next 2 months. I want to see if we can make progress with decreasing our electric bill. Is everybody on board with that? We need to have an electric bill challenge. How much money we can save. Some of y'all might save $10. Some of you might save $20. We don't know how much you're going to save, but whatever y'all individually save, I need you to come back, put it in the group chat. Oh, there go my girl. Oh, there go my girl right there. Miss Hawkins, how are you doing? I got to have a conversation with you, but I'm not going to get off track. I'm going to stay on track because anyway, when it comes to this electric bill challenge, next month, we are going to see what your electric bill is next month versus this month. And so as we continue to go through this, let's see, that'll allow us to see how much we saved. And then y'all see I got $320.87 that I got to pay this electric company. So we need to collect all that money and in my offering, and we'll collect it, and I'll tell y'all what we're going to do with it. But anyway, that'll be a great challenge to see. I'm going to challenge myself to see maybe I can get it under 300. One of my college students is back in college, so that's going to decrease the usage rate around here, hopefully drastically. Next problem. Let's see how we can continue to solve these problems. Let's see. Don't change the thermostat setting, especially if you're in Shauna house. You better leave it at 70 or it's going to be trouble. Next, heating and cooling, air leaks, poor insulation, and idle electricity. Yeah, poor insulation is another problem. You know, living in the South, there's like pros and cons. Like, let's say you got a bunch of trees around your house. It's like free shade, and it helps potentially stop the house from being as hot. But then at the same time, you got to worry about trees, and we have storms and hurricanes, and it can potentially cause roof damage and stuff like that. So one, having good insulation in your house, and I know that's something that you can get done. You can have certain things re-insulated or insulation put in there to potentially help. So that's something that you can look at long term. And rising natural gas prices. That is definitely a problem. The rising natural gas prices is hitting everyone all over. That's definitely one of the main issues as to why the electric bills have gone high. Now, wildfires affecting power prices, rising cost of labor and supplies. And I want y'all to remember those two. One, rising natural gas prices, and two, rising cost of labor and supplies. Is Ms. Hawkins still on? Ms. Hawkins, have you seen an increase in your electric bill? So I want to make sure I share another screen. Let's see if I can go to this one and see if it'll share. All right, let's see here. Let me go here. There we go. So it should switch over, and it's an article from 2022. Let me see if this does shift over. I don't think it did. I may have to go in and do it manually. But it's an article called Soaring Electricity Bills Are the Latest Inflation Flashpoint. Okay, it did switch over, and this is from 2022. And I want everybody to understand that this has been something that is continually going on. It's been a continual problem, and it's been happening for a while. So right here, where you see recession, and I'll circle it with my mouse, 2020. Now, before that, we see inflation and we see electric bill and what's been happening pretty constant. But boy, when this recession hit, all of a sudden, we see all of this inflation when it comes to the electric bill. So since 2020, whether you know it or not, you've been paying more for electricity. And so you must understand electricity prices have jumped 15.8% in the last year. Think about that. Has the money you made in the last year jumped 15.8%? Largely as a result, high-priced natural gas, which is used to generate nearly 40% of the nation's power. The rising price of power has been compounded by soaring temperatures, which have kept air conditions working overtime. And so you must understand that, and look at this right here. Somebody might name their child this Niada, but that's National Energy Assistance Directors Association. It is estimated the average family cooling cost rose from $450 last summer to about $600 this summer. So there is a crazy increase. And this article is from 2022. And of course, you must understand that there's a lot of factors in play. Like I said, the rising natural gas costs and the increase in supplies. And so what I want you all to understand, this is happening for a while. This is an article from 2022, and it has continued to happen. I won't go through that whole article, but it does say that more than 20 million families have fallen behind on their utility bills, and the average amount they owe has grown to $792, nearly double what it was before the pandemic. What am I telling you? I'm emphasizing the point of budgeting and planning for inflation. Like I keep saying, I believe the cost of living is going to continue to increase. It's not at 100 miles per hour anymore, but it slowed down to 60 miles per hour. But 60 miles per hour is still fast. And so you have to have a vehicle. Oh, this is so good right here. You have to have a vehicle that can keep up with inflation. Otherwise, we are in a lemon, meanwhile, inflation is in a brand new vehicle and it's riding out. And it's going to continue to distance itself to the point that you can't keep up, you can't maintain. So this is why financial literacy is important, guys, because when you understand the importance of financial literacy, you understand the importance of putting your money strategically in places that help fight against inflation. Now, there's a young man named Dejan Tanay who always is giving tons of recommendations and places where you can put your money and funds to fight against inflation. But people are falling behind. When I tell you, and I said people are still paying on the electricity that they used 2 and 3 months ago, it's because they put it on a credit card. And not only are you paying that inflated electric bill, but now you're paying interest on the electricity you used 2 and 3 months ago, and it continues to add up. That's why it's important that we figure out how to tackle this and how to take care of this. That's from 2022. I don't want to read much other information from this article, but it's filled with a lot of other information. So let's go to this article, 2023. Let's see here. I'll wait for everything to click over before I go too deep. And I apologize if I'm talking too fast because I'm getting ready to jump off of here in the next 5 to 7 minutes. And so when we look at this next article, I want you all to be able to see what this one says as well. Let's see here. Although inflation has steadily cooled since peaking in June of last year, electricity costs continue to heat up. Inflation has steadily cooled. Don't fall for that. Still need to be on the offense. Still need to be on the defense financially. Electricity costs continue to heat up. So the cost of living, the cost of electricity, services, goods, grocery store are continuing to go up. The typical bill is set to rise about 2%. This is an article from 2023, May 30th, 2023. So we saw how it increased all during the pandemic, 2022 article. Now this was a 23 article. Most electricity in the US, about 40%, is produced by burning natural gas, the cost of which spiked to a 14-year high last fall before dropping early 2023. A lot of utilities buy natural gas in the fall, and they try to spread it out over time. So consumers, you see that? So consumers don't get hit with the large bill right away. We're not going to hit you with it right away, but you're going to slowly pay for it, says Mark Wolf, Executive Director of National Energy Assistance Directors Association. So keep that in mind. And so consumers look at gasoline and say, well, gasoline comes down. Why am I still paying more money for heat and power? And so you can't go by what gasoline is doing. And so here's another example as to why the electric bills are still high. Most utilities need to ask regulators to approve any price increase. Another reason for the delay, price changes. And outside of fuel prices, utilities costs for labor and maintenance are still rising. So when they have to pay workers and they have to pay for certain supplies, it's still going to make the cost of the electric bills go up. Utilities are rebuilding their grids. Guess who has to pay for that? The consumer, which is expensive. About half the cost of electricity that a consumer buys is the wires. And so now they're putting in new wires, updating and all of this stuff. So just because the cost of natural gas fuel has come down doesn't mean it's a one-to-one relationship. And so we see a lot of rebuilding and infrastructure and things like that happening. And so these costs are still going to go up. I'm going to show you one more article real quick. All right, I'll give it a chance to switch over. All right, so this is an article from 2024. An article from 2024. Let's see. There we go. Many Americans may get hot under the collar when they open their electric bills this summer. But for some, the consequences of rising utility costs can be a lot more serious. And so once again, this is 2024 article. And so let me go up. There we go. June 3rd, 2024. We see the price is continuing to go up. And what I'm trying to let you all know here at Coach Steele's Finance Training, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Coach Steele's Finance Training. You'll see a library of financial literacy and information on there. Feel free to dive in and subscribe. We are continually to grow a community there as we discuss these things and come up with solutions. So, inflation-weary consumers who were paying only an average of $5.27 for electricity over the summer in 2019. So it's another price hike for inflation-weary consumers. The increase is projected to be even higher in some parts of the U.S. Those living in the Mid-Atlantic and Pacific are expected to see their bills spike more than 12%, while residents in part of the Midwest have to contend to jumps roughly about 10%. And so once again, my point of showing you this is the cost of living is increasing. the cost of electric bill, your electricity is increasing, water, food, groceries. We really got to buckle down and tighten up our budgets. We really need to see what we have coming in and going out. And if you missed it this past Saturday, I did a live and I showed you how to use an Excel budget sheet. And so let's see if I can stop sharing this. And I showed you how to use an Excel budget sheet. And I did it on purpose to show everyone how to be able to track what they have coming in and going out strategically. This stuff is not going to slow down and there's going to be an increase. But what we have to do is be proactive and figure out how to put our money in the right places so that we can continue to make progress financially and that we don't lose the spending power of our dollar. Otherwise, we're behind the power curve in this race. And so, yes, inflation is slowing down, but it's still moving forward. And so what I want to do as I get ready to come to a close, because like I said, I know I need to get off in the next few minutes. I got something else I got to jump onto, is I want everyone to really take serious what I talked about on Saturday. When I showed you on Saturday how to use that Excel sheet to keep up with your budget, how to track everything. If you didn't watch it, go back and watch that live that I did this past Saturday. If you need to see it, go to my YouTube channel, Coach Steele's Finance Training, and watch how I discuss managing a budget with that Excel sheet and how I use that demonstration of the person who was negative $1,500, how they could make adjustments to improve their budget, how they could make certain strategic adjustments financially that got them back in the green and they weren't no longer negative for the month. So keep that in mind as well. Take it serious. Take the money that you work hard for every single month. Take it serious. Be watchful, not over your electricity usage in your house, but be watchful over your money. Be a good steward over your money. You work too hard just to throw it away. And we need a lot of that money to pay our future selves as well. And so let's see here. Once again, this is Coach Steele's Finance Trainer. Once again, I appreciate everybody who tuned in, everybody who participated in the comments, and also make sure you subscribe. I am going live on Saturday, every Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. So if you are Central Time Zone, that's 8 a.m. And so definitely tune in. I appreciate everyone. Continue to join the community that we are building. The team that we're building is growing. It is growing so quick. So dive over to the YouTube channel and you can find all type of good information over there and content. If you like gardening, if you like growing vegetables, you can also go on there and look at that stuff. I have a lot of videos. I usually put them in the shorts. So when you go to the YouTube channel, actually, while I'm talking about it, I can just show you screen share. And be patient with me, guys. Let's see, share. So when we're over, every time the value, that's me. And so I'm talking about fighting inflation right here. But let's see if we can go to my YouTube channel. So when we go here, as you see, there's a lot of information on here talking about financial literacy that you can dive in. But if you click on lives, what you missed this past Saturday, Excel sheet budgeting strategies, you can dive on that. There's videos about entrepreneurs' mentality, inflation, 50-30-20 rule. But like I said, I'm talking about Excel sheets. Watch that one. And if you do need a copy of that Excel budget sheet, shoot me an email and I will send it to you. And my email is down there on the bottom ticker running through. So make sure you watch that. And also, like I said, if you love vegetables and gardening and growing things, definitely dive in here in my shorts and you'll get to see all these beautiful videos that I posted up here. And then what's interesting is this harvesting cabbage video. How many views are right here? Can y'all see that? Let me see if I can. No, I can't zoom it in. But it's already close to 7,000 views. So that's pretty interesting. For whatever reason, people like watching this cabbage being harvested. And so once again, dive in here, tons of videos and pictures about my gardening that you can dive in there and look at. Feel free, have fun, and comment. I comment back if you're in my YouTube channel and you're talking and commenting. I usually respond back as well. Let me know. Oh, there's interviews on here as well. We have a lot more good interviews coming up too. I'm excited about that. If you're interested in dividend stocks and learning, we're going to have a lot of videos about dividend stocks as well. But anyway, I appreciate everyone for tuning in once again. If you're just now jumping in, I'm getting ready to jump out when I stop recording. If you want to watch this, dive in, go to my YouTube channel, and you can rewatch it as many times as you want. Definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. Coach Steele's Finance Trainer, the financial voice of the people. And if you don't know and you don't know why, you better